This is Gemara Baba Basra, Daf Kof Mem Aleph. I'm rolling in the bottom of Kof Mem Amid Beis. Today's year should be an incredible schos, Rafua Shalima for Shliman Achmin, Ren Rachel, as well as Tinoik Ben and Miriam Ahuva. Psiata de Shemaya, the Koyach HaTeira, should bring incredible Rafua's Shalima, as well as today's year should be a schos Alias Neshama for Eliyahu ben Matisyahu, whose yahrzeit, whose shleishim, is in a few days. V'siyata d'shmaya, the koyach ha'tayra should elevate the neshama of Eliyahu ben Matisyahu and be a militz yosher for his entire mishpacha. We're holding on the bottom of Kov Mem Amud Beis right after the Mishnah. But in order to dive into the Mishnah, let's just go back and learn the first part of the Mishnah one more time. The Mishnah began, someone who's nifter and leaves over sons and daughters, and a tumtum. Again, a tumtum is one whose private areas are covered over. It's unclear whether he's a zachar or a nekeva. When the estate is large, says the Mishnah, the males push this tumtum eitzel nekevos. The chasmuatam on nekevos teichanos eitzel zachar. So the Gemara now comes along and asks a fundamental shayla. Teichanosai, that when the Mishnah says that they push him away like a zachar or like a nekeva, says the Gemara, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean teichanosai v'shakal kibas, and he gets like a daughter? But the problem is, like a Tani Zeifa, Yalda Tumtum, Einai Noitel. Problem is that what does the Zeifa teach us? The Zeifa teaches us that if someone gives birth to a Tumtum, he doesn't get a part of the Yerusha. So why would he be taking like a daughter? So Amar Abaye, Doichan Aisai, Ve'ein Eloi. Says Abaye, you know what Doichan means? It means they push him and he doesn't get anything. He's Doicha, he's pushed away. That's Abaye's teretz. Rava Amar no. What about the Seifa that says that when this Tumtum is born, he doesn't get anything? The Seifa Asya on the Rashbag. The Seifa is according to Rav Shimon Gamliel. Titanyo, we learned in our Braisa. Yolda Tumtum. Someone gives birth to a Tumtum on the last narrow line of Kov Mem Amud Beis. Ve'androgenis, who has both Simani Zachros and the Simani Nekivos. Rashbag Oimer says of Shimon Gamliel, Ein Kedusha Chal Aleim. There is no Kedusha on them. So Shimon Gamliel is the opinion that says that a Tumtum will not get anything. This is referring to Carbon Oila, that if someone made, let's just read the words of the Rashbam over here. The Rashbam explains. It's hard to find it. Smell this long guy. Okay, we'll leave it for now. But Shimon Gamliel is of the opinion the Tanan Mesechus Temura. Here we can try to dive into a long Rashbam for one moment. We learned in Mesechus Temura that Kitzan Ma'arimin ala Bachar mibach or Shahisa Muberes. Someone is pregnant Vaimeres. Vaimer, and he says, Mashav that which is in my inside shall zuim zachar oila. If this baby is a zachar bringing oilam, they came a shlamim. Yolda shnei zacharim echamim yikari vayla vashani yimakir l'chayiv oila. Demeim chulin yolda shnei nekivos. Achsav tikari shlam vashnei yimakir l'chayiv shlam demeim chulin. Yolda tumtum. This is the line that we're looking for. We're reading a Rashbam right now. We are 6 lines to the end of the Amud. Van Dragonis of Shimon Gamliel Emer Ein Kedusha Chalyam Chala Alehem Tibarehu Deina Loizach Arvelene Keva Helcha Lochal Alehem Kedusha Shlamim Va'ila B'meya Iman V'lu Kedusha B'char B'ptiras Rechem Del Karinim Be'azachar Taktish. And therefore, our Mishnah that says Olotumtamina Neitzar Shimon Gamliel Idechashav Lei Berei. So the Gemara is answering, says Rava. It's not a stira in the Mishnah because there's different opinions. Rav Shimon Gamliel Lamaisa holds that a tumtum does not have kedusha, is not considered to be neither zochar nor nekiva. But that's the das yachad of Rav Shimon Gamliel. But the Reisha could disagree. Meisvei, the Gemara is a kasha on Abaye, 2 lines on the bottom. Tumtum yerish keben v'nizon kebas. Says the Brisa, Tumtum inherits like a son and gets supported like a daughter. So Bish, Rava yerish keben, what does that mean? Bin a chasim muatim. As the Mishnah said that if there's a chasim muatim, doichan oisai eitzel ha bas, then excuse me, if it's a chasim muatim, doichan oisai eitzel zacharim. And therefore, that's why over here it makes sense. It will inherit like a ben. V'nizin kebas, we support like a bas, is in the flip side. It's been chasim rubim. So that works according to Rava, the way that he's going to explain the Mishnah. However, as the Gemara, as we turn over to Kovmema Miralif, Elale Abaye, according to Abaye, Mizan Kibas, throws back to Gemara L'Taimech L'Rava Mayerish Kiben. El Roi L'Yirish Ein Lai, just means he's Roi. He doesn't actually get anything, according to Rava as well. Says the Gemara, Hachanami Roi L'Zain Ve'ein Lai. So that's the Machlekes Abaye V'Rava. Klap in the din of a tumtum. We continue 3 lines down. Kuf mem aleph, amid aleph. Ha'omer, quoting the next part of the Mishnah that said, if someone says, if yolda ishti zachar, if my wife gives birth to a zachar, v'chulu, and the Mishnah went through that if he says, I'll give 100, and the next case was if it's a daughter, he's giving 200, etc. Says the Gemara, lememra debas hatifa lemi ben. Asks the Gemara, from the case of the Mishnah, from the fact that by the daughter he said 200, sounds like a daughter is better than a son. What's the kasha? The famous statement of Rav Shimon ben Yochai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mali Alav Evra. If someone doesn't have any sons particularly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has anger towards him. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, that the nachala, that the inheritance is transferred over to the daughter. Vein ha'avara ella evra, and havara is an expression of anger. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, yom evra yom, of day of anger today. So asks the Gemara, how can you tell me? How can you fathom that a daughter is better than a son? If lamaisa we see that if one only leaves over a daughter, it's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is angry with him. Answers the Gemara, Ula Inyan Yerusha, Ben Adifle. You're right, Klapi Yerusha, but Inyan Harvacha, Bitai Adifle. But with regard to providing with food, a daughter is preferred by him. Of course, the father, rather the estate goes to the son, because then it stays within the family. However, with regard to actual support, it is more advantageous to have a daughter. Continues the Gemara, Shmuel Amar secondary askinan. In our Mishnah, we're dealing birth to a first child, a bechar. Uchad Rav Chisda, Damar Rav Chisda bas techila, simin yafa lebanim. Someone gives birth to a daughter first, says Rav Chisda famously, simin yafa lebanim. Some famous statements over here, the statement of Rashbi, the statement of Rav Chisda. Ikadi Amri, says the Gemara, another Lashain, Timarbia Lacha. Says the Gemara, you know what's going on over here? Ikadi Amri, one second. Ikadi Amri, Timirabia Lacha. That's talking about the reason why is it better, why is Bas Techila good? Some say because she raises her younger brothers. Vikadi Amri, the Lol Shalta Ba'ine Bisha, because there is no ayin hara when someone gives birth to a daughter. People are not envious of such a family, and therefore that's why it is better. Amar Rav Chisda, so Rav Chisda just jumps in for a minute to Ladidi. B'nasan adifli mebini. Says Rav Chisda, daughters are more preferable for me than sons. So different reasons exactly what Rav Chisda means. So the Rashbam over here spells out that some say, according to Rav Chisda, that Ladidi and Amuchachli doesn't really make any sense. Here it is. Shoniskaimu loy banim. The Rav Chisda's own sons did not live. Ki'im banais l'chach mis'aveh hoya lebanais. Therefore, he was mitaveh. He was longing for daughters. Lo nisiyashiv liyafa daita shel Rav Chisda. The Rashbam points out that he finds this statement of Rav Chisda difficult. Taisa over here that argues, it says he did have sons. Therefore, Taisa says that maybe it means sons-in-law, that Rav Chisda's sons-in-law, the Meister, were incredible Talmidei Chachamim. That's what he meant, that his daughters are preferable. Viva Yisema, says the Gemara, third teretz, Amani Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, third teretz, why a daughter could be better in the Mishnah. We're going with Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. Hey, Rabbi Yehuda. Elim Rabbi Yehuda did call. If you tell me Rabbi Yehuda about Bakal, that what? Titania. V'Hashem Beirach is Avram Bakal, says the Torah. Pasuk in, I think it's actually maybe this week's parsha. Hashem blessed Avram Avinu with everything. And Rameir, what does it mean? Hashem blessed Avram with everything. Shloye Bas. It means he did not have a daughter. Says Rameir, he did not have a daughter. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, that's Rabbi Yehuda, but Rabbi Yehuda, and that's the shita we're going to go with. Amar Shaisalai Bas. And Ubakol Shemar, her name was Bakol. So maybe he says, suggests the Gemara, third teretz to our Mishnah, the way that we see that a daughter is better is like Shitas Rabbi Yehuda, that this was the call that Avram Avinu was blessed with, was that he had a daughter. So Eimer, the Sham said the Rabbi Yehuda, Parata, Namilo Chazrachman al Avram. When can we say that we learn from Rabbi Yehuda that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give Avram, he gave him everything. He didn't even not give him a daughter. Da'adifa mi ben mi shamislei. Says the Gemara, the obvious kasha. What do we see from Avram Avinu? That he had everything. He had sons and he even had daughters. But ask the Gemara, from what we hear from this story, do you potentially see that the ben is better than the daughter? That you don't see. Answers the Gemara, Elah Rabbi Yehuda, different Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya we learned in a brayso. Mitzvah lazun esabano zekabachaymer lebanim. One is mitzvah, it's a mitzvah to provide to the daughters, and kavachaymer lebanim, and certainly to the sons. De aski batayra divi Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda, Imer mitzvah lebanim, kavachaymer lebanai. So this Rabbi Yehuda that he says is something greater about the daughters. Why? Deloi lis zilon. Why? Because then it's not demeaning. Because if they were to have to go beg for money, it would be quite embarrassing for the girls, and that's why at some level it is better that there's a priority to give the daughters over the sons, according to this shita of Rabbi Yehuda, and this could be Rabbi Yehuda that we're referring to. Ask the Gemara, Elah Tanya, that which she learned in her brayso, Yalda Zacharun Nekeva Zacharnetel Shisha Dinarim, Vanakeva is Netelesh Ne Dinarim. The Zachar takes 6 and he gave a gate to B'mai. What case is this referring to? Amar Rav Ashi. This is talking about a case. B'misares is where it's flipped around. What does that mean? The Amar Zachar Techila Matayim the Keva is Acharav V'loy Klom. So made it tonight. If I have a boy first, he gets 200. A girl afterwards gets nothing. Nikeva Techila Mana. If I have a girl first, he gets 100 Zachar Acharav Mana. And what happened? The other Zachar Nekeva V'lo Yadinon. Hey, me now nothing. So he made these 2 tonight. And then he gives birth to 2, and he doesn't know which one came out first. So Zachar, so what do we do? In this case, a Zachar takes 100 miman of shach. Idach mana have mana hamutel b'safik. The other 100 is sitting in a safik v'cholkin, and therefore that's the reason why the other mana, they're sitting in a safik, and that's the reason why we would divide it, as we're not sure which baby was born first. And therefore, the boy is going to get 150, and the girl will get 50. Asks the Gemara of Haditani that we should in the price 2 lines to the bottom. So what's the case where if you give birth to both, there's only get 100? The case is when someone says that the one who gives me good news, he's going to get money. What does that mean? The Tanya, as we learned in Abraham. So again, and this is continuing the theme of someone who makes these stipulations about his pregnant wife, different scenarios will get different amounts of monies. So this is, he's giving money to the person who tells him the good news. The Tanya on the top line of someone gives me the news about my wife had a baby, Im Zachar Yital Mana, Yalda Zachar Natal Mana, Im Nekeva Mana, Yalda Nekeva Natal Mana, Yalda Zachar Nekeva Im Layela Mana. But now let's say his wife gave birth to a Zachar and a Nekeva. The person who gave the Telem still only gets 100 because each one was only worthy of 100. Asks the Gemara of Nekeva. He never said that. He said, if you tell me my wife had a boy, 100. Wife had a girl, 100. But here, the wife didn't have a boy or a girl. The wife had both. So why is the messenger getting this 100? Damar Nami, he also said, Mana. So then it says the Gemara, if he spoke this out explicitly, so what is the father coming to exclude? In every permutation, he gets 100. Says the Gemara, that if his wife had given birth to a non-viable child, to a nefel, a stillborn, that's when the messenger would get nothing. But you are correct. In all other scenarios, he would get 100. Continues the Gemara. Someone says to his wife, my nechasim is given to a child with whom you are pregnant. Amar Rav Huna is giving away his property to unborn child. Have him mizake lo'ober. So what's this case? He's giving mizake. He's giving something lo'ober to unborn fetus. And says Rav Huna, what's the din? Mizake lo'ober lo ikana. The ober can't make a kinyan. The baby's not born yet. Therefore, there's no kinyan. Someone who says our Mishnah so what do we see? We see that the ober, yes, is kaineh. I don't know who taught our Mishnah. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Famously, so maybe that's who the Mishnah is, and that's the reason why the baby, even though it's not born, could yes have a kinyan. Answers the Gemara again famously. When did Rameir say the davar sheyesh ba'olam, something that is in the world, the davar she'inay ba'olam at all? Misham islay. Says Gemara, okay, v'lem le Rav Yaisi. Damar obar kaina. Maybe the Mishnah is going to Rav Yaisi, who says in obar kid yes have a kinyan. It's nan obar paisel ve'inay machal divrei Rav Yaisi. Rav Yaisi holds the obar disqualifies. And Inay Ma'achel, that is Rav Yaisi. Rav Yaisi referring to the dinim of Truma. Let's get Rav Yaisi here. Rav Yaisi, Rav Yaisi is Gemara Nuvamis. Let's go all the way down in the middle of the very wide lines over here. Rav Yaisi Amar Dober Kaina. Chelek Ba'avdei Aviv. Ditanam Beberik Amana Bivamis. Bas Yisrael Shenisis Lekayin Umeis. The servants cannot eat truma because the chila that the ober is going to get, as we explain over there, the ober b'mei zara zaru she'ober paisel v'inamachal to Rav Yaisi kloimer. What does that mean? She'ober shenis abra yisraelis mikayin ba'ila. Her husband was a kayin. She'meis that died. Paisel as evan melachal v'truma. The avodim can't eat truma anymore. Because this child is going to be the one to inherit the Avadim, and he has a din of Yisrael. Nechalko to Ober Mei Zara, Zaru v'lo Karina Bevilad Beisai, Hem Yachleo Belachmai. Tina Lida Shal Kayin Likros Kayin Achiyatz Lavir Oilam. The baby only gets the status of a Kayin at birth if the father's a Kayin. But over here the father died, and therefore the baby does not get the status of a Kayin. Veino Machlas Imi Yisrael Shebrasa Mikayin the Kaimelon Asam Shachals B'Shuba Shal B'Nak Kayin. And the mother cannot eat truma. That usually, if she gives birth to a kain, the mother could eat. Kilu b'alei kain chayz of her husband's alive. Why be like beisayim yachlena b'lachmai aval over lie? So if you see all to meizi or oba b'mei zara zaru. So says the Gemara. But what do we see from here? To ober yesh like chelik b'mei imai. We see the ober has a chelik in the mother. So maybe that's the shita that we're going with over here. Answers the Gemara. Shani Yerusha ba me'alel. You can't bring the raya from over there because a Yerusha comes automatically is a different din. Says we're okay. Maybe we're going to Shita Rabbi Yochanan Breika. Yerusha V'leishna Matana. There's no difference. 14 lines on the bottom. The first one on the line is V'leishna Matana. It's now we learned in Amish of Yochanan Breika. Omer Mamar Al Misha Roi Liarshai Devarav Kayom. If someone says I'm someone who's able to inherit, then it works. Answers Gemara. When the Shabbos said Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, when did Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika say his din? When Shabbos said Yochanan ben Broika ledivrei davar sheyasnei ba'ilam, davar she'nei ba'ilam. Mi Amar never said this. V'lei malei Yochanan ben Broiki v'shavar like Rabbi Yosi. Maybe he's Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika and he also like Rabbi Yosi that over is kind of mi yibar t'savar lam. Who says that he holds that way? So we're on a wild goose chase to figure out who is the Tana. Maybe it's a case of the one who brings me good news. Everything is Yerush. What's the Yerush have anything to do with it over here? Maybe we're talking about a case where she already gave birth when the father said this tonight. Should be anyone who already gave birth. And with this we're going to conclude as we turn over to Kuf Mem Beis Amid Aleph. Suggesting Gemara, one more suggestion. Maybe we could say that you know what's going on in the Mishnah is the Amar Lichashatilid. Rafuna L'Taimei, Damar Ravuna Av Lichshatilid. Loi Kana. Even in such a scenario, there is no kinyan, and therefore that can't be the Tan of the Mishnah as well. And therefore, as the response speaks out, tomorrow we'll delve a little bit deeper into the Shita of Ravuna.